You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Young and the Restless fans. It is Soap Dirt on YouTube, and we have got your Young and the Restless weekly spoilers for Monday, June 26th, all the way through Friday, June 30th, 2023. Phyllis is back in town, but of course still trying to avoid consequences. We've got Victor taking aim at Nate. We have got a bunch more Abbott infighting, despite the moments this week where they had those scenes of John Abbott and they tried to play nice. And we've also got another blast from Sharon Newman's past that terrifies her. We're going to dig into all these spoilers, but if you haven't already, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Young and the Restless spoilers, casting news, promos, predictions, and more. All right, Monday, June 26, 2023, Diane Jenkins is turning dark again. So I have to wonder what she's done. It seems that this has to be about either Phyllis or about Ashley. Ashley is being a real snot to her and is trying to do everything she can to diminish her every conversation they have. But then there's also Phyllis, and Phyllis is back on the scene next week. So maybe Diane targets Phyllis. I don't know. But Jack isn't very happy because at some point this week he confronts Diane about lying to Kyle about something. So we will wait and see. But also on Monday, Jack Abbott makes a stunning announcement. He was already talking to his assistant about sending out a Jibbo company newsletter to announce that Diane is getting this high-powered role in the company and that they are engaged. So we'll have to see what his announcement is. Maybe it's an ASAP wedding, or maybe it's people being shocked over him hiring Diane. Tuesday, June 27th on Young and the Restless, we have got Phyllis Summers back in town, and she is spending time with Michael Baldwin. Of course, he is her go-to lawyer, and there shouldn't be a conflict of interest since he is no longer representing Diane Jenkins now that the charges against Diane were dropped. So Phyllis is going to rely on Michael to help her evade prison, and I'm sure she's going to get some FaceTime with her good pal, Michael's wife, Lauren Fenmore Baldwin, but Phyllis is going to do everything she can to avoid jail. But hopefully we do have Michelle Stafford back to stick around, and I just can't imagine that Phyllis is going to get more than a slap on the wrist. Michael Baldwin is a top lawyer. Surely he can save her. We've also got Summer Newman leaning on Chance Chancellor, which is very interesting because Kyle tells Summer next week to move out of the house. He wants a separation. He can't get past the lies she told him. And then Kyle goes out drinking and he runs into Audra, and we have to imagine what happens from there. Also on Tuesday, Sally Spectra gets a painful reminder of her past. It's not clear if this is her past from Baldwin the Beautiful or if this is just from her childhood or something. She is really down in the dumps about the death of her little unborn baby, Ava, who was miscarried and had to have a C-section and just all that messy, horrible stuff. She's furious at Adam. She doesn't want to see him. Nick invited her to move in, and ordinarily she probably would have jumped at that, but she's just not. She just wants to be left alone to grieve and mourn, and it's really sad. It's awful. It's a great soapy plot twist, but it's horrible, and especially if you've ever gone through the loss of a baby. I have, and it's truly terrible. They are doing a really good job of portraying the pain, I will say that. All right, midweek in Genoa City, it's June 28th, 2023, which is a Wednesday. We've got Victor Newman testing Nate Hastings. Well, I mean, Nate's going to fail. He's a bad guy. He's a hot bad guy, but he's definitely a bad guy. I am really enjoying Sean Dominic being a devilish guy. And Nate is now the interim CEO at Newman Enterprises, and we have to see how long Victor is going to keep letting Victoria run wild and unchecked. She did everything she could to get Adam out at Newman Media, and she succeeded. And now she's running Nick off, and Adam is spiraling. Victor says something about it this week, but then next week, it looks like he's had enough. He and Nikki both have their eyes on Nate, and he's a sneaky snake enough where he might figure out what Victor's doing and might be able to outsmart him, but we'll have to see. Also on Wednesday, Ashley Abbott is plotting revenge. I have to wonder if this Wednesday spoiler ties back to the Monday spoiler of Diane going dark. Maybe she did something to Ashley, and that's why Ashley wants revenge, and that could also be why Jack is a little annoyed with his fiancée in the YR promo that we've seen for this week. All right, Thursday, June 29th, 2023, we are going to have Nick losing his patience with Phyllis Summers. That same day, we have Michael and Lauren clearing the air between them. So I don't know if everybody knows that Phyllis is in town, or maybe Michael brings Nick by to see Phyllis, but Nick is in no mood for his ex-wife's shenanigans. He just saved another ex-wife, Sharon Newman, from an actual murderous maniac, and he just came in on the aftermath of his girlfriend losing the baby that she was so excited to have. So there were people that he loves dealing with actual murder and grief and loss. And here Phyllis is, still trying to avoid the consequences. And if you are on that Team Phyllis versus Team Diane thing, let's just say this. I will say this. I believe it's chalk and cheese, because just because Phyllis did what Diane did doesn't mean that Phyllis should get away with it, because it wasn't fair that Diane got away with it. Diane shouldn't have got away with it. So just because she did doesn't mean that Phyllis shouldn't have to pay. To me, those are unrelated, whether it's the fact that you did the crime, you should do the time, and just because somebody else gets away with fake murder doesn't mean that you get to get away with it. So I still think that Michael's going to find a way to get her a holiday at is it Fairview, the mental hospital, as opposed to her going to prison, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, before we dig into the Friday, June 30th Y&R spoiler, if you haven't already, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Y&R casting news, spoilers, and more. Friday, June 30th, 2023, we have got Sharon Newman still haunted by Cameron. Is he back as a ghost? No. Even worse, his lawyer sends something. So Nick has to come over and check on Sharon because Cameron had left in his will that this box was to be delivered to her in the case of his death. I don't know if he had an amendment in there saying, deliver it extra fast if she's the one who kills me, because it shows up pretty fast after she has stabbed him to death. So inside that box is something that is supposedly life-changing for Sharon and is going to involve her making a big decision. What the heck could be in that box that could be that important? I don't know. I'm intrigued. They've got me. You know how J.J. Abrams in all of his TV shows, there's always a box. There was one on Lost. There was one on Alias. It's something that he loves to do. So anytime there's a box, I'm interested. I want to know what's in it. All right. And finally, on Friday, Jack is forced into a position of damage control. I don't know if this is something that Diane has done or something that Ashley has done, but it seems like the rivalry between these women might turn into a problem, and it sounds like a problem for Jabot, and that may be why Jack is rushing to control the damage. All right, we're super excited to see what happens next week, and especially what is in that box. I also want to see what Sally is going to do as she is working through her grief, and I definitely want Victor to bust Nate, and I want him to bust Victoria too, but we'll have to wait and see if that happens.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.